Morning, YouTube. It's a rainy day here in Manchester, New Hampshire, but it's nice because it's going to wash away some of the snow and salt off the roads. And today I got a special trip. I'm headed over to meet my friend Jim, and we're going out to Vermont to hook up with Bill Brown. That's the 80-year-old rider I talked to you about in one of my videos. I'm going to go keep him company for the day. He's not feeling good. So that's my project for today. I'll keep you posted. So I'm headed through Bedford, New Hampshire right now, and I'm on my way to meet Jim over in Milford, New Hampshire. We're going to drive, one of us will drive the rest of the way to Bill's house. I've never been there. He lives off-grid, as I understand it. Got quite a sweet arrangement where he is. Yeah, I'm taking my camera equipment. I don't even know if Bill will be willing to be on camera or on YouTube or have any of his stories recorded. I don't even know what we'll talk about. I've never been to his place. It's my desire to get something from him for Old Men, Old Iron, Old School, because he's an interesting guy who's got a real diverse past. What's up, guys? I'm in Milford. I'm just about to my meeting spot with Jim. He just texted me and said he's running inside to get a pie, and we had a big discussion about the pie. We thought we'd take Bill a pie, and then Jim said, well, you know, he's had heart surgery, and Kelly said maybe he shouldn't have pie, and he said, what do you think? And I said, if I'm 80 years old, I'm having pie. If I make it to 80 years old, I'm having pie. If I want pie, I'm having pie. But you know. Hello, James.
Good morning, YouTube. And Richard, how are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good.
Another great day, huh? It's beautiful
It
out.
seems like it.
Yeah.
Warm, huh?
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah,
Listen, I want to tell all your friends out there, all your subscribers.
Yeah.
James Cormier, Feasting on Adventures. You're gonna come over to my channel. If you're following this guy, I taught him everything he knows about YouTube and content. Come over and subscribe and like my channel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go over to his channel. Listen, I've asked you maybe 5 or 6 times in my videos. I've suggested his channel.
It's not working.
And it really hasn't worked. So.
But listen, after they see what we're about to do today, they're going to be like, wow.
Yeah, what we're going to do today is my Old Man, Old Iron, Old School, that he still can't get the name right. Anyway, that's it. Over and out. We're on our way to Vermont. See ya.
Really?
Let's hope we can make it. We only have a Chevy.
Like a rock, baby. Here we are for my fans.
It's not like we're in a Ford.
Watching my video.
Oh, you're taping yourself?
You're
taping the road.
Just to see how the road is.
All right, so I'm going to tape Jim while he tapes the road.
Well, don't miss the bridge, though.
Here we go. I told you how many covered bridges we have around here. Look at this.
Bill has his very own covered bridge.
Bill has his is this his road?
Well,
no.
It is a road.
It's town maintained, right?
Well, here's the thing about
Ooh, look at this.
It's a private road.
We're talking.
It's tight, huh?
Tight. Yeah, this is tight.
Always got a beep in a covered bridge.
Rev the Harley.
I'll do it on the way down. Vermont has a unique law. If somebody lives on a road, whether it's private or not, no matter how bad it is, the state will plow it. The state will always make sure they plow it and sand it. So,
but it must have to be an approved road.
Nope.
Oh, wow.
If somebody lives there, they take care of it.
That's a pretty inefficient way to run a state.
Well, it's Vermont.
Well, it's Vermont. That's true.
Yes.
Get this nice stone house here.
Look at this place.
Listen, the only thing I would tell you.
Heaven.
The only thing I would tell you, looking at this place, there is no way the wolf could blow that down. So 3 little piggies would be safe in that baby.
Here we are.
You're in for a treat. Over and out. So we're here in with our friend Bill Brown, motorcyclist extraordinaire. Hi. This is for YouTube in one of the greatest places I think I've ever been. This is stunning. It really is.
Really?
Yeah, it really is. This is like the essence of hominess.
That's nice.
Right here.
I'm a bachelor. I live alone, so my lifestyle reflects that fact.
Well, you live.
Everything is squeaky clean and swept up and whatever. Half the time I just don't have time.
What do you do
Well,
with
yeah,
that?
I was gonna say, what do you do for a living, Bill?
What do I do for a living? I am very, very involved in the town.
Are you?
Very involved in the town.
Town politics, town.
Not politically.
No.
No, I stay away from politics.
You sit on boards and stuff like that.
I'm on a lot of boards.
Yep.
A lot of organizations in town. It's a very wealthy town. It's got a lot of summer people or vacation homes is the correct term. A lot of vacation homes. So people have more money than God. The weirdest shit that way.
So listen, let's talk some motorcycling.
Mm-hmm.
This is Bill Brown.
I think I have to drag you out to the shop.
Well, we'll do that.
See my 68 T100C.
Oh my goodness! Does it run? You were going to rebuild that, weren't you?
I was.
As I recall.
I am. Someday. I should be doing it right now.
So, Bill, where are you from originally?
Middlebury, Connecticut.
Oh yeah.
I was sent away to school as a child.
Okay.
At the age of
Reform
10.
school, Bill?
Yeah. Kind of. I was sent away to school at the age of 10. I never really went home again.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
You have siblings?
I have a brother who's a little older and a sister's a little younger.
Are you in touch with them?
I'm in touch with my sister mostly.
And
My brother.
and
This is interesting. My brother built that. That's his life's work.
built that boat?
Yes.
That ship? Sailing ship.
No, it's a boat. Not a ship.
Which
You know the difference between a boat and a ship?
I do not.
Huh?
I know the story, but I don't know the difference.
You want to learn the difference?
Absolutely.
You can carry a boat on a ship.
Okay.
But you can't carry a ship,
Ship on a boat. Okay. All right. Or you can't carry a ship on a boat either.
That's right.
Okay. Well, that's interesting.
That
I never.
was his life's work, and he sank it.
Oh, no kidding.
And I haven't forgiven him. I will never forgive him. I worked on it, too.
Oh, really?
I put a lot of my work into that thing.
Is that in San Francisco? That picture?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
in the bag.
Yeah.
He likes to say that they painted the bridge especially the same color as his sails for that day.
Yeah,
That's a pretty crazy picture.
that is. He'll right over, huh? Now, are you a sailor as well?
Yes, I am.
Oh, and a boat builder?
Not a boat builder. He was the boat builder.
Yeah.
I'm just a sailor.
Yeah, but you're a pretty skilled carpenter, too, from what I understand.
I'm a master carpenter.
Yeah,
Right.
there you go. So you can build anything.
I never met anybody who has more
More skills.
skill
Yeah.
than I do as a carpenter, as a home building carpenter.
And cabinets and stuff like that? Or
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm doing a job right now as a wall unit for a lady.
Nice.
I will be doing it as soon as I get some of my body back to work.
Yeah. And how recently did you have bypass surgery? Is that what it was?
Yeah, triple bypass and an aortic valve replacement.
Ah. And how long ago was that?
Eating grass. Moo.
How long ago was that?
5th of November.
This month?
Yeah.
Oh, for crying! And you're worried about not feeling normal?
Yeah.
Oh, for crying out loud, Bill!
I have high expectations.
Yeah, well, you better lower them right now. It's only been a month.
I know.
Oh, for crying out loud. Give it a rest,
I'm
man.
doing cardiac
Yeah.
physical therapy in Springfield, Vermont.
Yep.
3 times a week.
Yep.
I hate it. I won't last. I won't.
Well, you know what? Maybe you just need to get out to the get out to the shop and build that wall unit. Maybe that'll give you the energy you need.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
So when did you start riding motorcycles?
At the age of 10.
At the age of 10. And what was that motorcycle, if I could ask?
I grew up right next to a dairy farm, a nice small dairy farm. I have a picture of it actually on my computer, as it is now. It's a historic farm
Yep.
in Middlebury, Connecticut. And I grew up right next to the farm, so I'm an escapee. Whenever I had a chance as a kid, I'd escape.
Yep.
That means getting up in the dark,
Yep.
putting on my engineering boots,
Yeah.
my leather jacket, getting on my bicycle, and riding down to the farm, being there just as they were turning on the lights and starting to milk the cows or feed the cows and all the stuff that they do, you know. And I learned it all. I could run a farm, I guess. I never have, but I suppose I could. I know all the steps of the process.
Yep.
So is this like the late 40s, early 50s?
Yeah,
Oh, wow, okay.
late 40s, yeah.
Late 40s. And
I remember a sign on the wall inside the barn that says, "Kill the tubercular cow." That's right from the Second World War.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Kill the tubercular cow. I guess they thought you could get tuberculosis from cow meat.
Yeah, I don't know.
Who knows? I don't know.
And that relates to when you started, did you find a motorcycle there?
That relates to the motorcycle. The hired hand on the farm
Yeah.
was always a biker.
Yeah.
A biker in 1948, 1949 is a whole different person than now. He'd as soon cut your throat as look at you.
Really?
But
Just
I
a
always
different breed, huh?
befriended them. I always had them as good friends, and they would always put me on the back at lunchtime
Yep.
and go out on the back roads, put the footboards down just to give me a little shot.
Yeah.
But you know what a buddy seat is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember what a buddy seat is?
Yeah.
It looks like a bicycle seat, except it's this big.
Right.
And it swoops up and back. So the passenger has got his balls packed into the end of the driver's spine.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they
You think
wanted.
that's right? That's what they like?
I really do. I think they're all pedophiles.
Oh, well, it could be. It could. Let me.
Nobody ever touched me inappropriately,
Right.
but I think
Well, Jim's here. Don't worry about it. It'll be happening any minute.
they were all pedophiles. But anyways, so they would take me out at lunchtime often, sometimes in the evening after work, but not very often.
Yeah.
Usually just lunchtime. And after some years, they said, "Go ahead, yeah,
Really?
take it around the barnyard."
And what kind of bikes were these?
Either Indian
Yep.
or Harleys.
Or Harleys.
Side shift.
And that was it.
Clutch,
Yeah.
side shift.
So they didn't even have the benefit at that point of the surplus. What was it? The WL-45s from the war. They didn't have those yet, huh? They weren't selling those
I
surplus.
don't know about that. I'm familiar with that bike,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I really have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
These were stock bikes.
Probably something they could just
Maybe
buy
a little
cheap, whatever.
louder than stock,
Right.
but I don't know. Other than that,
With the side shift.
with a side shift and a foot clutch. And
What a different world, huh?
There was an Indian I rode that was the throttle was on this hand and the spark advance was on the other
Yeah.
hand. So you could advance and retard the spark as you wanted. Very,
Amazing, huh? What a
Yeah.
different world it is.
really, very different.
Now, while I'm thinking about this, I wanted to ask you a question. Jim and I have had this conversation, as have my wife and I. Sharon rides a motorcycle as well. And we were on our way back from Tennessee, when Sharon became a motorcyclist, she was not happy that the guys on Harley Davidsons didn't wave at her. And she has got a thing about Harley Davidson and Harley Davidson riders at this point. Now, I proffered a theory about that.
Okay.
I thought that maybe it was the guys coming back from the Second World War who had fought the Japanese. And when they saw people on Japanese motorcycles here in the States, they had a real problem with it. What do you think?
Maybe, but some people are just assholes.
Oh, hey, there's the explanation.
Yeah.
YouTube, there you have it from an expert.
I mean, this waving and not waving thing. I wave at everybody.
There you go.
Every once in a while, I even wave at somebody on a scooter. What did I just do?
Yeah, but that's okay. I wave at people on scooters. It's two wheels,
I
man.
used to ride scooters.
There you go.
You know. In
Matter of fact, I want to tell you
lived in
something.
Boston for 10 years.
I find myself, when I watch videos that I've shot of on the road, I'll be sitting there in front of the TV and two guys will go by on a motorcycle and I'll just automatically wave at them, even though we're on TV.
Even though you're sitting.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a habit.
It is a habit, yeah.
So from there, so you started really riding Harley Davidsons and Indians in the 40s.
Yeah.
And from there, I know that you lived in San Francisco
From there-
for a while. Or?
No, from there, I was in Boston. And there was a pretty long period of time when I would ride somebody else's bike occasionally, but I didn't own one.
Uh-huh.
Then in 1961, I bought my first motorcycle. It was a 250 Honda CB72,
Okay.
a Honda Hawk. And it's exactly the same as the 305 Super Hawk,
Okay.
except 50 cc's less.
Smaller, yeah.
Yeah. And it was a screamer.
Really?
Oh, I don't know how Honda did it. All roller bearing is how they did it. There wasn't a friction bearing in that engine.
No kidding.
All roller bearing. And this is 1961. It got its peak power at 10,200 RPM.
Oh my goodness. Two-stroke?
No,
no, three or four-stroke.
Four-stroke.
So just like the
Twin
305.
cylinders, side by side.
Yeah.
Four-stroke. The pistons, I think, I'm getting confused with like the British bike, but I think the pistons stayed together
Okay.
and fired alternate.
Mm-hmm.
I think. I'd have to check that out. I know British bikes are that way, right? Yeah. CB72. It was the first naked sport bike from Japan. It was. I had little short bars. It was like a sport bike with no fairings
Right.
at all. I put a tiny little windshield on it, which I broke in a gas station in Grand Junction, Colorado, but that doesn't matter.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Uh-huh.
You had this bike in Boston,
Yeah.
and you rode it to Grand Junction, Colorado.
No, I rode it from Boston to San Francisco and back on a 2-week vacation.
No way.
Yeah. 650 miles a day was my average.
Oh my
and I
goodness.
told that to I can't think of his name. Craig.
Craig.
He's a MSF teacher in Rutland. And he said, and Craig was the first one to ever, that we know of, to ever do a iron butt on a Yamaha. What's the super hot rod Yamaha?
R1?
No.
Nowadays?
No, it's not a sport bike. It'll do anything except go around a corner.
VMAX.
VMAX. He's the first one to do an iron butt on the VMAX because he put it Russell's tail on. And he
I think you pretty much.
he said to me, what you did in 1961 far outdoes anything I've ever done or heard of even. I don't believe that. It was a nice compliment, but
That's pretty amazing, Bill.
but it was an incredible trip.
Yeah, that was before people...
I camped out every night.
Is that right?
I didn't have any money.
And there weren't interstates.
Only from here to Chicago.
Yeah.
and they were turnpikes. There were no interstate.
Right.
Interstate system hadn't started yet.
Yeah, that wasn't until the, 50s or... No, it was a little later than that. I think it wasn't
later in the...
I think they started when what's his name?
Yeah, maybe
when
they
Eisenhower was...
Right.
started it in the
Yeah.
50s, but it really just... It hadn't
Did you
really...
take Route 66 from Chicago to LA?
Pardon me?
Did you take Route 66 from Chicago to LA?
No, it went the wrong direction. I didn't want to go south. I wanted to go straight across the country.
What brought you
I
to
wanted
San
to get
Francisco?
to San Francisco.
And why? What was in San Francisco? Just that was the place?
Free love.
This is what year? 60? What year is this?
61.
Wow.
Brand new bike.
And it made it the whole way.
Oh, it made it the whole way and most of the way back.
And what happened on the way back where it didn't make it?
I was riding, I've been riding, I stopped, I had friends, so I'd stop and visit.
Yeah.
Holy shit, you know. And then I'd get back on the bike and do something foolish, like from Iowa City, Iowa, I was riding 36 hours straight to the interstate. It was an interstate. It was an interstate. Brand new.
Uh-huh.
That went from Cleveland up the lake to Buffalo.
Okay, yeah.
It was a brand new one. You had to go through downtown Cleveland to get to it. Downtown Cleveland is not fun in the middle of the night. But anyway, I went through downtown Cleveland. I remember, I'm not kidding you with this, I remember distinctly, stop at a stoplight, and this drunk staggering across the street in front of the bike. The light turned green, and I went back to sleep.
Oh, my goodness.
I went back to sleep. So I was riding basically from my spine to my hands and feet, and my head was nowhere to be found.
Blanked out, huh?
Yeah, because I don't remember most of that trip that night.
Right.
Yeah, the rest of the trip, I remember it very well. So 36 hours straight, Iowa City to south of Syracuse. 300 miles to go, right? Syracuse to Boston, 300 miles to go. I can do this easy. I can do this easy. Route 20, I didn't have any money. I couldn't afford the
Tolls.
the tolls. I broke down in Salt Lake City, and I had my father wire me $25,
Oh, yeah.
and that got me home
Really?
from Salt Lake City.
$25.
$25.
Well, it's a lot different. I'm trying to find a way to travel on $100 a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So, anyways, it was at night. Must have been the next night. From Cleveland, yeah, it was the next night. Because going up that brand new interstate, there was brand new gravel, like almost like riprap, beside the road. They had just filled in the passing lane,
Soft shoulder?
yeah,
The shoulder, yeah.
They just
Breakdown
filled in
lane.
the shoulders. And I woke up a couple of times with, they put in a guard post for the show where the culverts are. I woke up a couple of times and the bike is going like this in the gravel and the guard post is coming right at me. I missed it twice. And then it hit me.
2 out of 3.
This is going to kill me.
Yeah.
So I rode over the shoulder, and there's a big swale and a banking, all seeded with grass, freshly seeded. I rode down, up a little bit, let the bike fall over uphill, and I just lay there and went to sleep.
Uh-huh.
I don't know for how long, maybe an hour, a couple of hours or something. And then I righted it up. It's only 330 pounds. So I righted it and got going again. And it was right outside of Syracuse on Route 20 that people know this road, and they say, that place, there's a lake, and the road goes kind of around the end of the lake. And I could see very clearly that there was nothing coming the other way. I was on the uphill, so I'm in a passing lane.
Okay.
It's a 3-lane road, passing lane in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was in the passing lane. This fucking car pulled right in front of me in the passing lane. So I thought, I'll just hold my speed. I'll go around him. So I held my speed. I went around. That double yellow line got right under my foot. I remember that vision so clearly. It got right under my foot. And I thought, oh, shit. It was painted. They don't do that anymore. It's painted on top of a cement mound. A smooth cement mound. The curbing was not really like a curbing.
Right.
It was a smooth cement mound. And I hit that. And the last thing I remember is I was aiming for the stars. The front end was going like this. And the cars are passing way down here. Way down there. I mean, way down there. They were going by me. I must have been going 70, 75, something like that. And then the next thing I knew, there was a state cop dragging me out of the middle of the road. What you don't know is I had a terrible speech impediment, which I didn't get rid of till last week, whatever. so anyway, I had a speech impediment. I woke up. There was a doctor who lived right there where the accident was. And so I woke up on his examination table, flat on my back, and the cop was still there, and they were both looking at me, and they asked me my name. My name is the one thing I couldn't do.
Oh, you mean because of your speech impediment?
Because of my stutter, right. So I struggled with my name for a second, and I could see in the eyes of the doctor, he got it right off. And he said, have you always had a speech impediment? And I said, yes. He said, okay.
Yeah, he was worried about brain head injury.
I had a Bucko half helmet. Remember Bucko?
No.
You don't remember Bucko. That company probably went out 30 years ago.
Oh, more than that.
More than that.
I've been riding for 40 years. I've never heard
Little
of Bucko.
half helmet, inexpensive little fiberglass helmet. Tore the side of it right off.
Really? So it basically saved your life.
It saved my life, yeah.
That's kind of an aside for all of those people who don't choose to wear helmets or gear. It doesn't take a lot to end your life.
It doesn't take a lot to end your life.
Now, from that trip back to Boston, then what?
It's
You had
my only flight in a Goonie bird. That's my only time I ever flew in a Goonie bird.
Really?
You know what a Goonie bird is?
Yeah.
A DC-3,
Okay.
C-47.
I know what DC-3 is.
In the service, a C-47, and the commercially it's a DC-3.
Yep.
Tail wheel, angle like this,
Yep.
twin engine.
So to get you home from Syracuse?
My girlfriend bought the ticket. And I got on the plane and flew home. Then I had to explain to the guys at Boston Honda where my bike was. And they had a Jeep pickup. Not a forward control either, just a regular Jeep pickup. And they drove from Boston to Syracuse, to the gas station where my bike was parked.
Really?
And they picked it up and brought it home for $75.
Wow.
I think that's the best deal of anything I've ever had in my life.
You think they'd still do it for $75?
I don't think they'd look at it for $75.
Yeah, really. I think you'd have a hard time paying them
Boston Honda,
$500.
and they were good friends.
Yeah.
And they were doing something nice for a friend. I'm sure of it. But
Now, let me ask you this, because in 1961, buying a Honda required a little bit of faith, I'd say. The Japanese did not have a good reputation in those years. They would say, oh, you got to buy something from Japan, it's not going to be as good. And it took a little bit of faith, didn't it, to buy that Honda? Was it about money, or had you done research to say, that's what I want, that's what I got to have?
I rode everything.
Yeah.
Everything on 2 wheels. I rode everything. What I should have done is I should have bought a BMW R27. But that's only 250 cc's.
Right.
And a lot heavier.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I didn't. I bought the Honda because it was quick. The brakes are double leading shoe brakes. That's pretty advanced.
Yeah, for
that
then.
era.
Yeah, absolutely.
Double leading shoe brakes, front and rear, and it would go like a bass.
Really?
It would, and it handled so well. I don't know if you got a picture of it. The pipes are really, really low. The two mufflers are really low.
Mm-hmm.
I would scrape them on the pavement on every corner.
Really?
Yeah, they were taking a beating.
That's
What model
amazing.
was that again?
I rode that all over the place.
What was the model again?
CB72. The Super Hawk was a 77. CB72.
So you're back in Syracuse. Did you have that bike repaired? Was it reparable?
Boston. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Boston.
I had it repaired.
Yeah, and it was repaired. Did it ever run the same? Did it ride the
I
same?
went to New Orleans and back the next year
Oh, no kidding. On the same bike,
on the same bike.
and no problem. That's
No problem
amazing
at
to
all.
ride. Well, I shouldn't say that. We think of that as amazing to ride a bike that small, those distances.
Yeah.
But it's really less about power than it is about
Actually,
comfort, isn't it?
In those days, that was a medium-sized bike.
Right, exactly. We
A
don't.
big bike would have been a Triumph 650.
Right, exactly. That would right.
Harley doesn't fit in there anywhere.
And why is that? Just because you didn't know if it was going to.
to.
Maybe you just didn't know if you were going to make it or not.
I don't know why that is.
Is that it right there?
That's my bike.
That's it, huh? Wouldn't you like to find one now?
I know where there's a lot of them, but I don't have any money.
Yeah. That's what my mailbox. Remember my mailbox? I had it.
Oh yeah, there's a guy on Route 10. I think he's gone now. On Route 10, just south of Keene.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
12, but on 10.
Yeah, so in Swansea, right?
Barn full.
Yeah.
Eddie something or other.
Yeah, he's got some funny name.
Yeah, Eddie's. I think that's what it is.
Eddie's,
Yeah.
right. He has a barn full of the goddamn thing.
Really?
Yeah.
I've looked at some of the stuff that he's had online there. Some of it's pretty amazing.
Is he selling stuff online?
I think he's got a Suzuki XM85, the turbo.
Yeah.
He wants like 50 grand for it.
Well, he's had that for a lot of years. He's
Yeah.
probably not going to get 50 grand
The
for it.
turbo, that was pretty rare, wasn't it?
Yeah, that Suzuki is the rarest of the turbos too.
Right.
Made early 80s.
Yeah, was Honda made one?
Yeah, they all did.
Yeah, did they? Yeah. There it goes. So you got a good Boston story that I want to hear.
I had a job in the financial district as a courier
Okay.
for Stone & Webster stock transfer.
Mm-hmm.
Now, most of the people who worked in that field, when they took stock certificates to the Federal Reserve Bank, they had armed guards and all sorts of shit. I didn't have nothing. They'd hand me the stock certificates and say, take these to the Federal Reserve. So that's what I did.
Let me ask you: Did you ever have the thought that maybe just keep going with those stock certificates? No.
I'm too honest.
Ah.
I'm way too honest. So I was doing that. I would ride my bike. I lived on Beacon Hill.
Yep.
I'd ride my bike on the what do they call it, Central Artery, and to work every day. I'd park underneath. Used to be overhead, so I would park under it. There was a special little place where there were a couple of posts, and nothing else would fit there except my motorcycle. And then I'd walk over to the job, and lunchtime, I very often rode home for lunch. Now, this is,
You were living in Boston?
can you yeah, I lived in Boston. Can you picture me in a as the value goes up, and the prices go down, down. Robert Hall this season
We'll show you the reason for low overhead.
It was a Robert Hall
Overhead.
suit. Wash and wear Robert Hall suit.
Yes, sir.
White shirt, necktie, shine shoes. Absolutely. If I didn't do that, I'd be fired. I was.
And this is to be a courier.
I was representing
Right.
Stone and Webster, who was international, they're huge. So I had to dress right, and I did. But I was a folk singer at night in coffee houses on Charles Street. So I had to take care of my hands. They were valuable. It was terrible. But anyway, so I would wear gloves, and that's it.
Yeah.
No helmet ever. Dark glasses if it was sun shining, and that's it. So one day I was riding home for lunch, and you know where, I don't know if it's there anymore, the Back Bay Star Drive ramp off the Central Artery. It kind of went off the Central Artery. You're still up in the air. Off the Central Artery, and kind of went down and underneath.
Yeah, swung around.
I just started in that corner, and all of a sudden I'm sitting in the road. And I'm sitting in the road so still that I was going to get up and get back to the bike. And then I saw the guard bike going by like that. And I thought, I'd better just fucking sit here until the guard post stopped going.
So you just sliding down the road.
Just slide
On
down
your
the
butt.
road on my butt.
That's not good for a suit.
Suit, buttoned, nice white shirt with
Yep.
necktie, shine shoes. When I stopped, I heard a funny noise. Now this is all absolutely true.
Right.
When I heard a funny noise, I looked up like this into the fan of a car.
Oh my goodness.
I was looking at the fan behind the radiator. Wow. It was a little too close. It was kind of scary. So I ducked out from underneath and stood up. The driver of that car knew. He absolutely knew he had just killed somebody.
Yeah.
He was absolutely knew that. He had just run over this poor biker and killed him. So when I stood up and kind of smiled weakly at him, he had a face like a deer in the headlight, you know.
He changed his life.
Oh man, I must have changed his life. And then I noticed all the traffic in the passing lane. That's just a 2-lane road.
Yeah.
All the traffic in the passing lane was stopped. And of course, behind me it was all stopped also. And I noticed right here, this car right next to me, there was a lady with 2 kids, and she was grabbing at the kids' heads to turn their heads away from looking at me. She was really into doing that. And I kind of wondered about that for a quarter of a second. And then I felt the breeze. And I looked down. Shine shoes,
Yeah.
pants, gone.
Really? All the junk was hanging out there or what?
Gone. Jacket, buttoned neatly, white shirt, tie. I was fine. Gone were the pants. My bike was down the road because it weighs more and is only a handlebar and a peg, so it slides further, slides away from you. I find that the most frustrating part of an accident, that the bike is going away from you. Because if you're traveling, what's more important than your bike? Nothing. That's your whole fucking life
Right.
right there
Yeah.
on two wheels. So I wanted to get back to the bike, so I did. I walked down, 30 feet, whatever it was, to the bike, picked it up, and the gear shift lever was bent. Stomped on it and straightened it enough so I could use it. Got back on and rode home.
Bare ass.
Bare ass. Now I lived on Phillips Street on Beacon Hill, on the backside of Beacon Hill. It was like a big college dorm in those days. It was a fun place to live, let me tell you. There was more dope and more girls and more everything. It was wonderful. Catty corner from my apartment was a Chinese laundromat.
Okay.
And it's lunchtime. I'm going home for lunch.
Yeah.
So they were all sitting out in their folding chairs on the sidewalk, talking Chinese to each other and eating lunch with their chopsticks. And this guy rides up with no pants and a motorcycle, puts a side stand down, parks it, and goes inside. And they're all like,
You know what's funny? Is they're probably sitting somewhere telling a story about the day they're having lunch on a beautiful summer day.
Some guy on a
Some
motorcycle,
crackpot.
bare ass.
Some hippie
yeah.
in a sex commune on a motorcycle comes home naked.
So I took a shower, obviously. I was all gravelly and dirty. I took a shower, found out where I was and where I wasn't.
Yeah.
And there was a large part of me where I wasn't.
Yeah.
My ass was gone. Wore off on the highway. And then I rode down to MGH, right there, and went in the emergency room. And I don't remember what happened. They took care of me for sure. But I had road rash. I had a splotch this side on my left rear for so many years after that. Road rash lasts a long
Oh,
time.
it's the worst.
Oh.
I flipped a motorcycle over while doing a wheelie one time. And it was like the one time I did not wear my leather jacket, and I lost a patch of skin on my back, like the size of a basketball. And that was going to the emergency room, having them scrub out all the dirt was.
Oh, that's
I thought
comfortable.
the worst. Yeah. But then the scab that forms
Uh-huh.
after like 3 or 4 days, and no matter what you do, all of a sudden the scab would break.
That's right.
Oh,
Does she ride anymore?
no, she sold all the bikes. And she has nothing.
I can't hear you.
She has nothing to do with motorcycles at all anymore.
Gee, I wonder why.
Yeah, no kidding. Yep.
So, Bill, that brings me to a motorcycle question that I like to ask riders. What's your preference? Solo or two up?
Solo.
Solo.
Oh, absolutely.
It's amazing how many people.
I like to ride to eat. I like to ride to meet the group somewhere and then ride home.
Yeah.
I don't like riding with a bunch of people.
Yeah, I don't either.
I think, and
Do you but you enjoy riding?
NER is not the first bunch. It was Yamaha Star.
Yeah.
It was Star that I rode with first as a group, in a group.
Yes.
And we were down in Branson, Missouri. And the roads in Branson, Missouri are just wonderful. They're smooth as silk. Up and down and left and right. I rode with, there was a bunch of old guys. I'm not an old guy. There was a bunch of old guys riding with us. They stopped for every corner. They would slam on the brakes for every corner. And I said, this is a good experience and my last.
You know.
And it was.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I slam on my brakes when I come to a corner, too. I have to because I'm usually doing about 120 miles an hour.
But Star, we were very involved in Star.
Yeah. But I bet you had that bike.
Yeah,
with
I
Venture, I
had
think.
Star here
Yeah.
for a
Yeah,
while.
ponytail, too.
I rode out of
I know that.
I rode out of Turco's in Shrewsbury.
Oh, yeah.
I rode out of Turcos and Shrewsbury and took people for a lot of rides,
Shrewsbury, Mass?
weekend rides.
Shrewsbury, Mass you're talking about?
Huh?
Shrewsbury, Massachusetts?
No, Vermont.
Oh, okay.
It's up near Rutland. It's almost like a suburb of Rutland.
Okay.
It's south of Rutland. If you ever go to Rutland, you come up Route 7, and there's Turcos right on the left there at a light.
Yeah.
It's closed down now. He's closed down.
But you've always considered yourself a BMW guy, right?
I always wanted to sit that way, and I couldn't. My knees were so bad.
Yeah.
So when I got my knees replaced,
Mm.
that changed everything for the better.
Yeah.
Now I can stand up on the pegs. I can whatever I need to do. It's great.
Yeah. And when was that? When did you get your knees done?
Huh?
When did you get your knees done?
About 6 years ago, wasn't it?
2006.
Oh, okay.
That long ago.
Yeah,
Wow.
that long ago. Yeah, I just had my 13-year checkup.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you had us on a ride on the Honda 72, CB72. You were on your way to Louisiana.
Right.
You said you met a bunch of guys down there.
Now I met one guy. I had a friend who was a bicyclist,
Uh-huh.
very close friend from Boston, and he was an interesting character. He's Armenian, so his skin is kind of dark,
Yeah.
and his hair is kind of kinky,
Uh-huh.
but oh, it's a monster. He's just really a monster. Really wonderful, wonderful man. I wish I could find him. But anyway, he was riding his bicycle from Montreal to New Orleans, wearing lederhosen. So he had leather on his ass. And he called me. I was living in Alston at the time, in Boston, and he called me Thursday night, and we talked for a moment and agreed to meet in Jackson Square Sunday night.
This is
8 o'clock.
1962 and you're in Boston.
No, yeah, this is 62, 63,
Yep.
something like that, yeah. And he wanted to meet in Jackson Square. You know Jackson Square,
Yeah.
Old Town, New Orleans. And I said, sure, I'll be there. So Friday morning, I packed up and jumped on the bike and headed out. And actually, I think I quit my job to do that. They frowned on my
Your
ride.
shenanigans, huh? Your
My
hijinks.
shenanigans is right, yeah. And so I headed down the road, and somewhere in Virginia, I ran into this guy on a Harley, an older Harley, nice kid, really, a little younger, but really nice kid. He was going home for vacation, and he lived in Chattanooga, or just outside of Chattanooga. And so we decided to ride together. And we did. And when it got to be evening, he said, you can come and stay at my house. Great. So I did. They gave me the guest room, and I stayed there. And we had some discussion about why I was riding in the South, which I'm really fortunate I didn't get shot or something, because that's why I was there.
Yeah.
And we had some discussion like that, but not much. And then the next day I continued on, and by Sunday night I was in Jackson Square sitting on a bench, and Rack, my friend Rack, he came up. He's on his bicycle. Yeah, on his bicycle. He had gotten all cleaned up. The summer before, he had been a night auditor at Motel 128, which was an HCA motel at the time, Hotel Corporation of America. So he had some special card or something that identified him. So the Royal Orleans Hotel is also a HCA hotel at that time. So he said, I've got a room and everything and a place for you to park. Follow me, and I followed him back to the underground garage under the hotel. He had a spot all for me. It was great. Now you got to remember, I've been riding for
3 days.
3 days straight, as fast as I could make that little Honda go, just about. And all I had was a jeans jacket. I never had leather as in the old days. I had a jeans jacket and that little half helmet and goggles. So I was clean.
Looked like a
This
raccoon,
part of
right?
my face. And the rest of my face was almost as black as night. It was dirty. I was dirty. I mean, I was really grubby. And so he said, you know, we'll park it here. And I've got a room. You can stay in my room. It's a 2-person room. And we'll go up the elevator. We get on the elevator. And it starts up. It goes to the first floor. And the doors open. Well, what was going on that night was some really, really fancy schmancy event. And everybody in that hotel, on that floor, on the lobby floor, was either in a tuxedo or an evening gown, depending upon their sex, of course. And the doors opened. Now, Rack carried his bike with him everywhere. It was a French, and it's before all the bikes we have now that are super light and super fast and a billion gears.
Yeah.
This is 1962. So he carried his bike with him everywhere, to his room, everywhere. He had it on his shoulder. He's a big guy, really built, with lederhosen. And of course the sun from Montreal to New Orleans had turned him black. I mean, he was really dark, because he'd been in the sun for months.
Yeah.
So the doors open in the main floor, and there's people there to get on the elevator. And the doors open. We smiled politely. They all kind of took 3 steps back. Once they looked at us, the doors closed and up we went. Nobody got on. Believe me, nobody got on. With these ne'er-do-well.
That's funny.
And
was that your
we
first?
had a good time.
I was going to say that your first trip to New Orleans,
Yeah,
and what did you think of it as a place to go, party town?
I
Or?
liked it.
Yeah.
It's very different.
Yeah.
Very interesting. I liked it.
And how long did you stay with Rack?
Just a few days.
A couple of days, and you rode back to New England?
Yeah, I put Rack on the back.
Oh, for
Now
crying out
this guy is 6'4", probably 230, without an ounce of fat on him. He was a monster.
kind of like me, Jim.
Big, strong, strapping guy with black skin, black curly hair. We didn't give a shit about those things in those days. So he got on the back of my 250 Honda, my CB72 Honda. He got on the back and he was going to ride home with me. He shipped his bike.
Yeah.
He took his bike to the railroad, and shipped it.
So he did? He rode in the back all the way
So
home?
he got on the back of the bike. By the time we got to Chattanooga, he said, bye-bye, I'm getting on the train. I can't do this anymore. There was one time we stopped at a stoplight, and I took off, I guess, before he expected, and left him standing in the road behind me. He wasn't happy about that at all. This guy was a monster.
Yeah.
He's a beautiful man, just really.
And you lost touch with him?
Huh?
Have you lost touch with them?
Yeah, I've lost touch with them. We have a mutual friend who used to live in the Finger Lakes region, who I visited, and he said that Rack had some terrible motorcycle accident, and he was in really bad shape. And that's all I know about him.
Yeah.
And lives somewhere in the southwest. That's all I know about him. But anyways.
So I've heard you tell about, and I think this was when you were in Boston, or maybe you've been in Boston more than one time in your life in terms of a place, but you used to talk about what's that?
I was there for 10 years.
You used to talk about riding a hack.
Huh?
Used to ride a sidecar.
Oh yeah, I had.
Was that in Boston?
Yeah, it was in Boston. I had it was a 500cc Triumph, but it was. I've had a million bikes.
Yeah.
Especially during those years.
Right.
I would wake up in the spring when everybody would start to ride, and I'd look around. I didn't have a bike, and I'd go right down to Pete Andrews in the South End and buy whatever he had on the floor. I'd take the rent money and anything else I could beg, borrow, or steal. And it had this great BSA for a while that had a piston slap that you could hear in the next zip code.
A BSA, really?
BSA.
That's the first motorcycle I ever rode by myself.
Really?
Yeah,
It's a
BSA.
Great bike. This is a 50, it was a 58 or a 59. It's a Super Rocket or something. It's just a regular single carb 650.
Yeah.
Uh,
Not the Rocket 3?
oh, yeah, but would it go? Oh my God. I dumped my girlfriend then, wife to be later. I dumped her off the back in Sharon, Mass.
Oh, no kidding.
Around the 123, 124, what is it? Sharon.
124 goes through Sharon.
124, yeah. We're on 124, and I got a flat tire in the back.
Mm-hmm.
And those old tires had no stiffness in the sidewall at all. So it'd go out one side, and you'd straighten up, and it'd go out the other side. And you'd straighten up, and it'd go out the other side. So you're going down the road like this. And at one point, I was slowing down like mad, and at one point I said, "You'd better get off." Because I didn't want the bike falling on her,
Yeah.
and I knew it was going to fall. Well, she did get off and broke her ankle. And of course, me being the sap that I am, felt sorry for her and proposed to her in the hospital.
Which number was that?
2.
That was number 2?
Number 2, yeah.
Oh, boy.
The mother of my daughter.
Yeah.
They just moved to
Yeah.
Woolwich, Maine.
Okay.
Yeah. She's just kind of started being friendly now for the first time, and I can't even tell you how many years.
The ex-wife? Or the
Yeah,
daughter?
the ex-wife.
Wow.
My daughter, I had a problem with her too, but anyways,
Yeah.
it's something else, a different story.
Yeah, yeah. You told me all that.
Yeah. So,
This flat tire that you just talked about with your wife
the
on the
flat
back,
tire I just talked about, there was
that
a
was on the
garage
Triumph
there.
500?
Huh?
That was on the Triumph 500?
No.
Oh.
In the
BSA.
BSA.
Oh, that's right, BSA.
BSA 650. There was a garage right near where this accident happened.
Yep.
And I told the cops or whatever to take it there. And they drove back there the next day probably. And they showed me. They took the carcass off the tire, off the wheel. And they showed me the tube. The tube had been patched very loosely, at least 12 times.
Oh,
It had more patches on it than original rubber.
Yeah.
And of course, it just went flat, you know. Oh boy.
The good old days.
and so the sidecar came in where?
the sidecar came in. Let me see. I bought this '58 Triumph 500, which turned out to be a '54. And I just found out it's a '54. I always thought it was a '53, but checking the official records,
Yeah.
I had the original registration, so I had the number. I checked the number, and it was a '54. Sold to me as a '58 with the tank trim in a box and
Yeah.
a lot of the rest of it in a box. I put it back together and made it run good. And yeah, that's right. We got married on that bike.
Oh, wow.
There's pictures of us. We got married in a nice brownstone in the back bay, and then we went on a week or 2 week camping trip around New England. Had all these state parks and everything we were going to stop at. The first one was Andover State Park. You familiar with Andover State Park?
No.
Well, you can look it up.
I didn't even know they had, I know Andover, but I didn't know they had a state park
Yeah,
there.
it has a really, really pretty state park, really nice. So we're going in.
Oh, wait a minute, is that right off of 133?
I don't remember that.
I think I
couldn't
might have,
answer
I
that.
might have seen that.
It's in Andover, that's
Yeah.
all I know. So we're going into Andover. Slowly. I mean, it's a little narrow, dark country road. There are no street lights. So, and you know old motorcycle headlights aren't worth the
Yeah.
electricity they use. So, because Lucas is the Prince of Darkness, well, I was going really slow, which is a good thing, because the main strut, the one from under the seat and the frame to the sidecar, broke. And the whole thing just kind of collapsed into the ditch. Nobody got hurt, it wasn't. I was probably a 5 or 10 mile an hour accident.
Now, was your wife in the sidecar?
Yeah, she was in the sidecar with all our camping gear and everything. God, the gateway to get into the park, you could see it up the road. So I walked up and this guy was really nice. He got his pickup truck and he got all our stuff and he gave us the best campsite and everything. And then we pulled out our wedding breakfast, which was a gift from a dear friend who I still have never forgiven.
That too.
I always want to do dirt rides from here. They're really great, yeah. And he knows all the roads.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go out and get a dirt bike, I guess, a dual sport.
You have to get a dirt bike, that's it.
That means I got to get rid of one. I got no more room in my garage.
Well, I guess you'll have to get rid of one.
Yeah. I'm gonna get rid of one of Sharon's. She won't miss it.
You've got a Triumph, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Dual sport.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, great, you got the tires.
Get one of those.
I've been thinking a little bit on it. I'm not never been a dirt guy,
You can
though.
take on a few dirt roads.
Yeah. No, they're,
Surprisingly, though, it's very for a 1200cc big heavy bike. It's pretty capable in the dirt. I've taken it in some pretty gnarly stuff, so I'm surprised at how capable that big heavy monster is. It's just when it falls
I
over.
taught you how to ride in the
You
dirt.
did. You taught me I think about that all the time. That one little thing that you taught me changed the way I rode on dirt bike.
It's nothing. He hasn't talked about anything else for 7 years.
Yeah.
you'll have to tell me about that.
Yeah.
Tell me that you taught him how to
You
steer
taught
his
me
bike
two
with the
valuable
back
lessons.
end.
The most valuable lesson he taught me though was we were on a ride. I bought a KLR 650. It was the first. I've been riding on the street my whole life. I never rode on the dirt. And like the second time I ever took that bike out was with you, Bill, my accountant Bill Brunel, and I think McGill was with us.
Bill Brunel.
Remember
Oh,
Bill
I
Brunel?
remember Bill. Yeah.
So I'm leading, we're going down a steep hill and on the dirt, and we're coming around a corner. I'm like, oh my God, I'm like fucking panicking, right? Like going around this dirt corner. And I look in the rearview mirror and I see Bill like slide into a guardrail, like off the road, right? He's right behind me. So I'm like, oh, fuck it, I'm gonna make it's all for one for all as we're going down this hill. I get down to the bottom and I stop, and you didn't fall over, but you kind of like slid into the
I
guardrail.
don't remember that.
Yeah.
I remember passing you at one point. You were going way too slow
Yeah.
because of the dirt.
Yes.
And I wanted to show you that you can go any speed you want on the dirt.
Yeah.
So I went by you like a shot in gravel.
But when we after that was the second time when we did the puppy dog ride, and that's when you told me what to do: to stand up, stand up straight, move the bike under you, and
right.
let it move around a little bit.
Yeah.
And once I did that, I was amazed. But
Yeah, the rest is automatic.
yeah, we got down to the bottom of the hill, and I'm waiting. Bill coming down. You pull up next to me, and I'm like, Bill, I'm sorry. Like, I thought I caused you to crash. And you go, nope. He goes, totally my fault. I did the one thing I tell people never do when you're riding on a bike. Don't follow too close. He goes, I was following you too close, and you panicked, and you touched your brakes, and you slowed down, and I had nowhere to go. And the other rule is, never hit your buddy. So instead of hitting you, I hit the guardrail.
That's what happened when you and I were riding together down in Vermont here.
Yeah.
When I went over the white line in that corner.
Yeah.
I was following you.
Yeah.
I wasn't riding my own ride.
Yeah.
I hadn't ridden enough that year on the lesson. Remember, BB?
Yeah.
He told me about that
Yeah.
the day after. He said, "Oh man," he said, "I thought I was going to lose Bill right there. I thought I was going to see him die."
Yeah.
He said, and then we pulled over. Bill looked at me and said, "That was terrifying."
And I giggled, and you go, no, really, Jim, I was terrified. Like, I was terrified in that corner.
We'll make it through, won't we, Jim?
We certainly will. And if we don't, we don't. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
When it's time to go, it's time to go.
Time to go. Time to go.
Do you believe in fate? You believe that? You believe like when it's your time, or do you have a lot of control over that?
I don't think we have much control over it. I think when it's your time to go, it's your time to go. It's going to happen one way or the other.
It's one thing we all get to do, right?
Yeah.
It's guaranteed life. Death and taxes.
Looking at it from
Yeah, if you get a good enough lawyer, you can get out of death.
looking at it from 80 years old, I'm about to be 81 actually. Looking at it from this age, it all changes.
Yeah.
That's what blows my mind. It really does. It all changes.
Yeah.
Everything. I mean, I was so deprived of sleep. I was thinking about ending it.
Really?
Yeah.
Just
Now
recently?
that's a horrible thought for my 41-year-old grandson.
Yeah.
For me, who gives a shit? I've had a great life. I have great friends.
Is there a certain age where that kicks in? That you think that?
I think 80. Yeah.
Is it? Huh?
Yeah, I think so. You start to think differently because you know that you're on the last downhill slide.
Yeah.
That you're not going to survive this one.
Yeah.
We're getting close to the end now.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be gone in a while.
Yeah.
And you'll ride to my funeral, I hope.
Yeah.
I hope you guys have a party to beat all parties.
Yeah.
That's what I want you to do. But I know the end is coming soon.
Yeah.
I think at 80, you suddenly realize that, oh, wait a minute. People don't live much longer than this these days.
So that's what he was saying, like on the truck ride up, it's like, so then if the doctor says, Bill, you can't have a piece of cherry pie after heart surgery.
I can't.
If the doctor says, Bill, you can't have a piece of cherry pie after your heart surgery, are you thinking, fuck, I'm 80 years old. I'm not going to be around all that much longer. I don't give a shit about what the doctor says. I want a piece of cherry pie. I'm gonna have a piece of cherry pie. It
Kind
changed-
of.
It
That's
changed
kind
the
of
way-
what I'm thinking. What I'm really thinking right now is that the doctor, he's young. He's not a doctor, he's a nurse practitioner. He's young. He's great. He's fabulous. But he's playing around with little things. And I feel I don't have time for him to play with my health.
Yeah.
I don't have time. I need it fixed now because I need to sleep now so I can do my life now
Yeah.
because it's going to end in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it does change the way you
It's a very different way of thinking. And
really
you
must be.
know you're on that last downhill slide and you're not going to get away with it.
So let me ask you this. Is there anything that you haven't done in your 80 years that you think you need to get done before that slide ends?
You know, I haven't had that thought.
Really? You've lived a pretty amazing life. You've done a lot of stuff.
I've done a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Done a lot of good stuff. I've
Yeah.
made a lot of people happy. What I'm most proud of is that there are people coast to coast, no exaggeration, who get up in the morning in space that I created.
Yeah.
And it affects their entire day, hopefully in a positive way. That's what I'm really proud of. And it's coast to coast. I've built all across the country. I built some beautiful stuff.
Yeah. Now, see, to me, when I think of you, I don't think about the shit that you built. You know what I think of? I think what I tell people when I talk about you, I say he's the most amazing, friendliest, kindest, warm-hearted person I've ever met.
You're gonna make me cry.
You really
Keep
are.
this up.
You really are. That's the truth.
Well, thank you very
Yeah.
much.
That's the truth.
I try to be nice to everybody.
Yeah.
We're only here for a couple of minutes,
That's
so
right.
we might as well be nice to everybody.
It's an important thing.
Anything else is like we're shortchanging ourselves and our friends.
Well, let me ask you this, Bill, because this is kind of taking a turn, but I'm interested, if you don't mind. What do you think about what happens after? You think you just turn to dust, dirt, go in the ground, that's it?
Yeah, I do.
You do?
I think oblivion. Huh. That's it. Just a bit oblivion.
But is it an oblivion that your soul knows? Until you're...
I think we just stop.
That's it.
That's it.
Well, what about all-
I think the saddest part about it is all the memories you say I still have. That gets lost. If I don't write down every single thing I've ever done, gone forever.
So
And I'm not going to write down everything.
well, no, but so you think it's a sad thing that the legacy of your life, because your life is a legacy. I mean, basically, the way you lived it, what you did, the people you interacted with, and see, I got to disagree with you. I don't think that'll ever be lost, because I think that all of those memories that you have are part of a memory that somebody else has, that probably has
yes,
been told
I
to
agree
somebody
with
else.
that. I
That memory
agree
will never
completely.
die in a way.
That's how the people we love live forever.
Yes,
Because we love them, we think about them
Right.
that way.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
they live forever that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's,